The main purpose here is to talk about your transition from elementary school to middle school, and also to hit some pointers on the camp course and overnight trip for the fifth graders that will be coming up very soon. And remember, you will have a virtual presentation tomorrow as well about the camp course and trip. There are refreshments in the back, so let's sit back, enjoy ourselves, and we'll be out of here before you know it.
Okay, so just to get us started, talking about our mission and vision. The Kimberly LOKimberly mission and vision is centered to the IB mission, which is to provide a learning environment that fosters the growth mindset and develops student creativity through innovation within a global society. And our vision is all students will thrive in a choice-filled community that increases opportunities through hope, belief, and success in action. And our IB update at this time is that we have had our consultant visit from IB World, and that consultant has given us the okay to continue our process. We are currently in the process of writing our units with our teachers. Next fall, the teachers will start teaching those units with fidelity and reflecting upon them. And at the end of the year, upon teaching all 6 units for most grade levels, pre-K only has to do 4. They will then, we will then submit our application with all the documentation that is needed, so that we can then seek authorization in the fall of 2025. And this month, kicker is our IB learner profile. So if your child comes home talking about the IB learner profile of the month, that's because every month we are working diligently to make sure our students understand the 10 learner profile attributes that helps make up not just a learner, but just a person in general. Things that people reflect upon as they are going through their daily lives. Being thinkers, reflective, communication, being caring. Just those things that we need to be well-rounded citizens.
The whole child intervention team, we just put this up here every month so you'll know who they are. It's Principal Sally, Mrs. Grant Roundtree, Counselor, Social Worker Snipes, Ms. Crystal Reed will be here tonight, our counselor, Ms. Davino, our school psychologist, clinical therapist, Ms. Cheryl Williams, the self teacher is Ms. Bradley, Nurse Oates, speech pathologist, Jill Barton, myself, parent liaison, communities and schools, Captain Carter Smith, and the principal's ambassador / bookkeeper is April Williams. And at this time, we'll have a representative from the Girl Scouts.
Okay, my name is Laura Sides. I'm the area executive for the Girl Scouts of Greater Atlanta, South Fulton Territory. Just going to give you a little information about the Girl Scouts. We build the girls' courage, confidence, and character. I'm not sure if you know this, but 50% of the Girl Scout alumni are 50% of women business owners are Girl Scout alumni. So we do a variety of things. You guys probably know about the cookies, the best part, of course. I'll bring some cookies next time, I promise. So we do a variety of things. We do have campsites all around Georgia. We work with doing community service, outdoors events, of course, earning badges and learning life skills, money management, different life skills, and just building bonds and sisterhood, of course. So right now we actually are running a new program. We just started it, and we are bringing it to Kimberly Elementary. If we can find 2 leaders that are willing to lead a troop unit. So for one, the leaders will get a free membership. So the memberships are $25 for the whole year, but it will be completely free. And all the girls that do join the troop will get free memberships as well. So all we need is a minimum of 2 leaders and 12 girls. And I feel like we can definitely get those girls. It's the leaders that we definitely are looking for. But you will get a free membership, and you will receive training. So you'll receive online training and in-person training. You'll have a program facilitator that will work with you if you have any questions, or you just have any questions about the troop, or what you want to do with the troop, or what you want to focus on in your troop. You will have somebody that will be there, and I will be there as well to answer any questions and help you along the way as well. And so, in addition to that, we will also give you for the first year a mini grant of $1,000. So that is going to be 2 different payments. So $500 for the first 6 months, and then another $500 for the second portion of the year. That will need to go to the troop. So you'll utilize that money to hold events with the troop, take the girls camping, do different things with the girls. Sell cookies when cookie season comes up. We'll treat some teams in November, so you'll be using the money for that for the troop. And so that's basically what we're trying to get a Girl Scout here at Kimberly. I know it hasn't been. I think it's been a while since we've had a troop here. So I'm trying to. And I know during the pandemic there were a lot of troops that kind of disbanded. Everybody kind of not being online and everything, so it kind of changed up everything. But I'm trying to bring a lot more participation into South Fulton because it really is so beneficial for the girls and just to be around other girls their age, and just learn from each other. And like I said, it's 50% of women business owners are Girl Scout alumni. That says a lot about the organization and what we can do for girls and the benefit. And I think now especially girls need kind of a safe space as well together. So that's if anybody is interested in leading a troop, let me know. I know everybody has a lot on their plate, but I am the area executive for this region. So if I'll have all my contact info. If you have any questions about anything, I'm going to be here until 6 or a little bit after that as well. If you have any questions for me, if you are interested, I can tell you how to get involved and how to get a troop started. And like I said, I'll be there along the way. I have a lot of information over there in info cards as well. So you can put your email, your phone number, all that, and I can get in contact with you. And I'm going to keep coming to the school until we get a troop. So as long as it takes. But yeah, so if you have any questions for me, just let me know. And definitely pick up some flyers over there. All the information's up there. And yeah, let's see where we go. And thank you so much.
Thank you. We have our counselor, Mrs. Reed, come up to speak to us about transitioning from elementary to middle school.
All right, good evening, parents and my loves. And I call the student my loves because I am Mrs. Reed, the loving school counselor. And so every day that I'm here, please excuse me, I do have 2 students. Every day that I'm here, I make sure that every student is safe, loved, and that they're making the best choices possible. And I first want to commend all of you all. I have to commend all of the families, especially the 5th grade families. You survived 6 years of education so far, including the pandemic. And your babies have made it to this great, auspicious occasion, which is in a couple of months, they'll be moving on to middle school. So I have a little background on myself. I started as a middle school teacher, moved up to a high school counselor. I was been in this area the whole time. This is my 27th year in APS. I started at Silver Hills Middle School, moved to Farrell High School, and now I'm at Kimberly and Continental. But you all should have a flyer. If you don't, they're over there on the table. You have a 2-sided copy. I have 2. The colorful one over here for the little boy is for the kids. They'll get another one at the end of the year, again for me, because I'm going to go and talk to every homeroom. And then the one that's all typed in words is for the parent. And basically, it's to prepare you to get ready for middle school. And I know some of you all were in middle school just a little bit ago, so you can remember what it was like, but things have changed. For one, middle school is not starting to, I think, 9:20 this year, but I think it's 9:15 next year. So they do not go early, they're the last ones to go. And they stay, this year they stay to 4:20. I'm not sure about next year, but I know they go to way after 3 o'clock. Their classes are 90 minutes. They have not changed. Back when I was in school, 55 minutes, ding, bell rang, you move on. No, the classes are 1 hour and 30 minutes. There bunch is in the consideration of changing that, but as of right now, they are 90-minute classes. And they have A-Day, B-Day. Don't stress. Your babies can't go to all those classes if they're 90 minutes. But there'll be A-Day and B-Day. So A-Day, they go to okay? Again, April 10th, all fifth graders will be going to tour lunch. They will meet their counselor, who's my friend, the sixth grade counselor, the sixth grade assistant principal. They will also tour the sixth grade hall. They will learn about the different connections. We don't say electives, we don't say specials. In middle school, it's connections. They will learn about those classes and everything else, okay? But the main thing I want you to know is that you need to prepare them. Kimberly, as of right now, we're about 297, 300 kids, 302 kids. There are, right now, 362 sixth graders at lunch. So the size of this school is just one grade. So that's a lot of students. So I need you not to be anxious. For one, their family, their friends and family here is going over there, so they'll have familiar faces. Kids who they remember from last year are over there, so they'll have familiar faces. So that anxiety they feel, it's okay, but I want you to know that there's always family over there. Like I said, the sixth grade counselor is one of my best friends. So she always texts me. So if there's an issue, she will contact me about a student that is a Kimberly student. Sometimes I don't like the contacts I get because she's telling me they're fighting and getting in trouble. But none of my loves this year don't have any problems. Are we loves? No. No. Say no. All right.
Are we loves?
So, feeling anxious is normal, okay? Just tell them this is a normal part of life. I went through it, grandma went to it, aunties, uncles, we all went to middle school. Might have called junior high, from further north, we called junior high. But we all had to go. So just let them know that for one. Let them know that you are their best line of defense. If they don't know, tell you. Because sometimes our babies think they can handle it on their own, but always let them know the lines of communication need to be open. They need to tell you about their day. And yeah, they get into the part of life where they're going to be, okay, it was okay, it had to go. Okay, you got to push through that because you need to know. Because a lot happens in middle and high school on a daily basis. And you want to make sure you know what's going on. Communicate with the counselor. Communicate with the teachers. Sometimes you could be a headache. I was a teacher and I was like, but those parents I knew I could call were the first ones I called because I knew I could get support. All right, so just make sure you're always around and there whenever they're having something. Please go, so you can see with your own eyes what's going on. Because you'll hear things in the community. Streets will talk, but you need to see what's going on with your own eyes. Another thing is they'll be able to pick their connection classes. So at the end of the year, Ms. Bishop, their council, will send over a scheduling form for them to pick. They're to bring it home to you. Let me say that again. They are to bring it home to you. Now, I get some, and when I look at them, I was like, that is not a parent's signature. And you didn't put all these classes that you want, and I know it was not discussed. They're to bring the form home to you, and you all together will pick their connection classes. The one thing you must know, their test scores, their math, and their Georgia milestone will be assessed to see where they are and what they need. If they are low academically in math and reading, at the end of the year, one of their connection classes will automatically be a reading or math. So they don't get to pick. So even though on the schedule form you want to put your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in order, what you want. If they score low, it is voided. They automatically have to go in those classes. So they'll be taking an additional math or reading class. I wanted to tell you that up front so that you know ahead of time when you go over the lunch. Because they will have parent night.
April 10th.
It's the same.
April 10th is the visitation for the students.
Yes.
I haven't received the parent night.
All right. So, again, our wonderful parent liaison will be letting you all know there is a parent night at Bunch where you go and tour the school, meet the administrators, teachers, everybody there. And so we'll let you know when that's going to come up. It's going to come real soon. Please, 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 please show up. Again, if they know your face, they know that you're child is one of them that they, okay, that's the so-and-so child, you know, she come up here. Let that, have that reputation. All right? People will tell you otherwise, have that reputation. Again, when I was a middle school teacher, those parents I knew, I would call, one little boy was roasting his voice so hard, it hurt my feelings. I called his mom. I stepped out as a step out. I called his mom. When I blinked, she was at my door. She had come, left wherever she was. She said, because I didn't train you like that. She said, I train you up right. She said, you will not. Now, she did some other stuff I had to tell Atlanta Public Schools do not allow that mom in the building. And I said, that's after home of stuff. But if they know who you are, they respect you. Okay, that's basically what I'm saying. A lot is going to come up. They cannot do sports, football. That is the one sports. Cannot play in 6th grade. That is an APS Georgia High School rule. Okay? No football in 6th grade. 7th and 8th grade, you may be able to play. But again, tell me, major boy, what are they going to be looking at before you can play any sport? Take a guess. What do you think they're looking at? Your grades. Everything is based now on your grades. All right? So if you have any F on your report card, you cannot be in any extracurricular activities. Everybody understand that's girls and boys. All right? They also will be able to participate in cheerleading, dance, of course, you know, orchestra band, all those good things. A lot of activities, homecoming, JROTC, all of that. So there's a lot coming down the pipeline. Just be open with your babies. Let them know it's all right to be a little nervous. Have an open line of communication every day. Tell me what happened. Check their cell phones. I'm looking at their faces when I say that. All right. And the reason why is I'm dealing with chats now. Group chats. And group chats lead up to stuff coming back to the building. And if I'm an elementary counselor, what do you think that the middle school counselor is dealing with? And let me tell my loves, anything you think you delete off phone, police officers will be able to look and find it. So please, let your mother know if somebody sends you anything inappropriate, you take that phone straight to some adult and show them, this is what was sent to me. And then if they need to contact the school, they will. Because if you don't, you can get involved in a lot of stuff that you don't want. So in high school at Thero, we even had some pornography stuff that students were involved in. And they didn't know that it was that deep, just because they sent something. So please check any social media, make sure, group chats, anything like that, block. If you see it, and you know, because some kids' parents treat them differently. Boundaries are different, and it's different than your household. Make sure that you are going in and you have to block it yourself, block it. All right, because that's where a lot of our situation and conflicts as a counselor, dealing with behavior and fights, it starts on group chat. It starts in the neighborhood. It doesn't actually start in school. It's finished a lot of times in school, but it starts at home. And that's it. Just be an advocate for your child. You have their back. They know you have their back. And just make sure that you ask as many questions as you need to. If you don't think you understand, ask it. Just like I was taught by my parents, there are no silly questions. Ask the question. And if anybody in APS says otherwise, I don't know where they came from. They worked somewhere else and came to APS. All right, I told you I've been here 27 years. Please ask questions. So I'll be here. I'm here all the time. No, I'm not. Let me take that. Rewind. I'm here every Thursday and Friday at Kimberly. I rotate my Wednesdays. Monday and Tuesdays I'm over at Continental. But next year, officially, can I say it? I will be here full time. Hallelujah. So again, if you have email, I don't know if I have let me give you my email real quick. I don't have it on this, so I can move on. No. Yes, I don't know if you can see it. It's way down here at the bottom. That's my email address. If you can see that, write it down. Email me if you have any questions after the night, because you might get home and start talking. Again, April 10th, the students go over to lunch, and I will let you know when it's parents' night. Thank you.
That's CL
C.L. Reed, R-E-E-D.
at APS K12.org. All right. I made the mistake of leaving Sergeant Bird off the agenda, but she's also here to speak to us about the transition to middle school. And thank you.
She actually just gave my presentation. No, but, I'm Sergeant Bird, with Atlanta Public School Police Department. Basically what that means is I am the supervisor of the officers that work in the Mays cluster, Douglas cluster, and the Thero cluster. So essentially your babies will see me at some point, in middle school as well and high school. I'm assuming everybody's going to lunch. Okay, so, currently right now, the assigned officer over at Bunch is Officer Michael Jackson. One of the nicest officers you'll ever meet. Very mild-mannered, great with the students. He also services, Pickett, so a lot of his kids he's getting from elementary and following them through their middle school, and then, they'll transition to high school and they'll have another set of officers. But again, very approachable, very understanding, enjoys the children. And I will say the principal over there is a great person as well, easy to work with. I know you mentioned, I jot down a couple things, and I do have another sergeant that's coming because I just wanted him to bring some things to your attention, because middle school is one of those, time periods where a lot is going on. They're being exposed to a lot, they're being, pressured into doing a lot of things. And so he's gonna come speak whenever you're wise. He'll address you all on some things in which, his area of expertise. But she did mention the social media. A lot of our issues, when it comes to fights and things of conflict, it is stemming from social media. We tell parents, please be monitoring your students' social media pages, the telephone. They didn't buy it. It's yours. Go through it when you want to go through it. Take it when you want to take it. Anything that you find in there that could present an issue at school, or anything that you feel is related as a result or resulted from school activity, please let us know. Don't hesitate. Even if it's something that's in the community, that's still in the community, still let your school resource officer know that they're aware, because it does have the potential to bleed over into school. We do, like she said, deal with a lot of the community issues in school. A lot of times they bring it to the school because they know that's a safe place, somebody's gonna do something about it. So, scholars, don't be afraid to approach your school resource officer, and let them know if somebody is bullying, even if it's not you and you wanna speak on behalf of someone else, go to him. I also see something, say something signs, they'll be introduced to that, where they can report stuff anonymously. They'll be provided, laptops. Keep in mind, because they are APS issued laptops, we can see when they search for things that are not appropriate, and we do get alerts. So if they're searching things like how to build a bomb or how to kill somebody, normally it's gonna alert IT is gonna give it to us. Now, in middle school is when they start to go through the tribunal process to go to what we call Hank Aaron, which is the behavioral school. Please speak to them about that. You know, now they may get days in elementary school, but now they have somewhere for them to go education-wise if that's the case. If they get out of control, the principal decides to take them to tribunal, and they say they want to send them over to Hank Aaron, that is not a place for our scholars. It's not a place for our scholars. Especially if they, ultimately are ones that do their work, don't really present a behavior issue. You just take that one time, you get mixed up with the wrong person, and here you are getting kicked out of school. So have conversations with them about that. Have conversations with them also about just conflict resolution. There is a program that we are implementing in the middle schools and elementary schools that's called GREAT. It's Gang Resistance Education and Training. So they may see some of us in the school, and that deal with law enforcement on the street, and they know that we are a trusted person that they can come to. Again, airdropping. Oh, that's a big one. Speak to them about accepting airdrops and also airdropping things to other people. Anything that depicts the child in a negative light is child pornography. It's not just sexual. Even these fights that's going on. If it depicts the juvenile in a negative light, it's considered child pornography. There are criminal charges for that. Do we typically charge the child? No. We kind of let the school deal with it on the school level, and put some services in place for them. But there is a criminal charge for that. But I just want you all to be clear on what child pornography consists of, because that's what we get it. They're airdropping the fights. They're airdropping, pictures of their body parts or other people's body parts. And like she said, it does not go away. It doesn't. It leaves a digital imprint, like for real. So be mindful of that and accepting the airdrop. Sometimes the airdrop will pop up throughout the school and they don't know who it came from and they just accept it. And now they got it on their phone and it's child pornography. So now we're trying to run around the school and figure out who has seen this inappropriate stuff and trying to make sure we notify the parents and all these different things that have to come into place. So keep that in mind, be mindful of that. Horse playing. I know it's a lot of horse playing going on in middle school, and I get it, it's innocent, but however, that's where a lot of our fights stem from. They start off playing, and then someone gets serious, and then now you got this whole brawl. So kind of speak with them about that in reference to horse playing. You don't horse play. When a fight does occur, students are running to the fight. How I explain to my daughter is, if somebody is running to a fight, and say for instance somebody had the bullet doesn't have a name. So now you're running over there to see something, and it has the potential to hurt the innocent, right? Not those involved. So you gotta keep that in mind. You may run to a fight. I know in high school we use pepper spray. Sometimes we have to use it in middle school. So if you run into the fight and it's a big old crowd and we're trying to break up, and to us it's appearing as it's a big old group fight, when in all actuality it's just a big group of kids surrounding a fight, and we may have to disperse the crowd. We're outnumbered. Let's be clear. We're outnumbered by the students. But if we have to deploy pepper spray, now you're in the vicinity, it may affect you, and it's not fun. So keep that in mind. Don't run to the fights. If you hear of a fight or somebody wanted to fight you, again, report that. Report everything. And you can do it anonymously. Like I said, Officer Jackson is an officer that, where his office is, they won't even see you coming. And you'll always see him around the school. Let's see. And that's just about it. I did want, I asked Sergeant Price to come because he's our game intelligence officer. And we know that in middle school is when they start to recruit. So I just wanted him to kind of just address you all, give y'all some information on things that I could be looking for. Again, that phone and social media. We all look like saying, well, we didn't have that, but that is one of our biggest issues, like for real. So you just give them a little bit of. And he also runs our break program, y'all.
How y'all doing? It's gonna be a little impromptu. When I saw the price with APS Police Department, I already gotta get the letters together.
He came from APD, y'all.
Right. So I just retired from APD, did about 26 years. Worked auto theft, zone 4, which is this zone, auto theft, and gangs, the gang unit. They supervise and pretty much circle that same trend again, except zone 4, zone 3. So, a couple of things for you guys to look out for, especially parents. What grade do we have in here mostly?
They're going to the 6th.
They're going to 6th grade. This is about the time where you'll start seeing the transition for a lot of the kids. During the summertime, they start getting a little older, smelling themselves a little bit. They start finding friends. A lot of supervised time, and they'll start getting into the mischievous stuff. You say mischievous, meaning more frequent contact with police. the young men and for the young ladies, you will start seeing different drawings on their bodies. Pay attention to that. Kids, when they join a gang or part of a gang, they like to let it be known in some shape or form. So you might see little drawings where they might take a marker and draw on their hands because they don't have paper nowadays. Or they're treated as a tag. Their friends they have might change. Especially if your child likes sports or for a female dance, and they decide all of a sudden now they're not interested in that, and they want to start going and doing different things. Those are things to look for too from your kids. Conflicts at home is another thing that will start happening. Conflicts at school, not wanting to do school work. So those are just some of the basic things you can look for. A change in speech, want to use different acronyms, throwing up gang signs. Trying to think of just thinking off the top of the head right now for certain things. And just even being argumentative. I know kids will do certain things at certain times because if they grow up, they're trying to find their way. But these are some of the things you might want to pay close attention to. One, just because you see one doesn't mean that the child is in the game, but these are just tools for you guys to look out for. Cell phones, I heard Bird talking about cell phones. Definitely, if your child got a cell phone, that cell phone should be yours just as much as it is your child. You should be able to go through that phone like you go through your own phone. I'm just saying, unless they pay the bill to the phone, the person who paid the bill to their phone should have the rights to their phone. And if you have problems, feel free to contact us with APS or APD. I do work a lot with APD as well, with their gang unit, but if you guys have a problem, your child might be leaning toward that, feel free to call us, let us know, or let your SRO at the school, middle school level, and we can start trying to do interventions with that child to get that child out of the game or keep them away. Because the earlier you grab them, the more chance you have of taking the child out. Because the later you let a child continue to run with a gang, it's harder to bring them out because once they start getting locked up and hanging with their new set of friends, it's harder to bring them out. So you want to start early and stay on them early so that way you don't lose them early. Pretty good. Any questions? None?
And we focus on, we hound on middle school because I don't know if you all are familiar with juvenile law. They do a lot of recruitment at this age because of their age. The penalty or the punishment isn't as severe as if it wasn't there. So they get the younger ones to kind of be the runners, the foot soldiers. So just keep that in mind. And they're bribing y'all with everything from money to shoes to games to clothes to whatever. So you see some new stuff in your house and you know you didn't buy it? Yeah. So pay attention. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, it is Camp Forson time. I am Ms. Green. I am one of the teachers here, and I'm on the team, Camp Forson team. How many of you all went last year, fourth graders? Okay, good. So you kind of have an idea of what Camp Forson is all about. So,
I just want to say something. For those of you who went last year's fourth grade, this year, this trip will be a fifth grade trip exclusively.
only.
The fourth graders will be going to Fern Bank, on the day, actually, they're going to lunch. So on April 10th, when you're at lunch, enjoying your transition, fourth graders will be at Fern Bank, Science Center, doing Science Center, activities there. This year, we going back to our official fifth grade annual trip to Camp Forson.
Oh, and by the way, this is Ms. Green. That is speaking. Oh, she did.
Okay, so we're gonna depart April 24th. It is for 2 nights. It's a 4-H camp. but it does give you, it brings nature to your child, and if your child's not used to environment of camping, it brings you one with nature. So, while your child is at camp, of course, the camp will provide 3 meals a day, and we bring plenty of snacks as well. We will be going to, classes during the day, and there's another slide that will tell you a little bit about some of the classes that we'll be involved in. This is just telling you a little bit more about the meals and transportation are part of the cost, and then they'll be provided, like I said, we do provide snacks and, through our chaperones.
And I want to emphasize the snack part. The kids last year, we explained this to them. The reason that the snacks are not allowed in the cabin is because we are one with nature, so we're out in cabin. And I'm not quite sure how well the kids take care of things at home, but there's a bag on the floor, there's chips on the floor, there's candy on the floor. And one of the things I love about Camp Force is they are required to clean up. So they clean up their own space. So before we even leave on that Friday, they have to clean that cabin. They sweep it, they make sure it's clean. And what I've always expressed to them with the candy and the gum and stuff, I said, if you leave the stuff on the floor, you might wake up with their ants. Or if someone walks out the door, a critter might get in. The next thing you know, you're like, oh, wait a minute, there's a squirrel over here, or whatever. So the whole purpose of just reminding them, because they're going to ask you, can I bring snacks? We will have snacks for them. And they also sell snacks. They're pretty reasonable, but we do not want snacks in the cabin for that reason.
And here's some of the classes, that we will partake during, our 2-night stay. You see all of them for, ecology, we have team building. There will not be the zip line or the climbing wall. Unfortunately, they don't have anyone to service those. There's Pioneer Day, Wilderness Survivor, outdoor and canoeing. Now, with the canoeing, you will have to sign a separate permission slip, just in order for your child to partake in that activity, since we're talking about water. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to stop. Yeah, and there's evening classes as well. So, I don't know, if you remember last year, but your child comes home exhausted. I went last year, I participated as one of the chaperones, and we are active from morning until night, like night, dark night. So there's not a lot of, there's free time, but when we come back from this trip, we're really exhausted. We're having fun, but we're exhausted. Okay, there's a typical cabin, as you can see. There's the accommodations. I know for the girls, there was probably approximately 16. You see the bunk bed, 16 to 20. You can see how the house, multiple bathrooms. It's good facilities. Cabins, of course, the sign of the gender. This is kind of telling you what items you need to bring. There's personal toiletries. If you have a special sleeping blanket or blanket, twin sheets. Now, we do provide sleeping bags for those that don't have sleeping bags. You definitely need your toiletries. You'll need your towels. If you don't want, I would bring shower shoes. That just means that when you take a shower, your feet doesn't actually touch the bottom of the shower or the floor. Shower shoes would be great. And the cabins will be locked. So the shower, we keep them locked for several reasons, just for safety reasons. And also, cell phones, which is a whole different topic I'll talk about after we get my own personal qualms with that. Okay, so these are kind of the expectations. Shoes will be worn at all times. And the thing about shoes, you also want to make sure you bring old clothes. And usually 2 pair of shoes, old shoes, because a lot of times they will get wet because if the weather's rainy, we're gonna be out of it, but we're also about the ponds and so forth. And so you want old clothes, there's no swimming, just the typical expectations you have in school are basically the same for when we go to Camp Forson. Now, we do have duty, and this was kind of an issue for some students. So, like Dr. Brookwright said, we clean up, but we don't also just clean up, we also share kitchen duty. And I know for some of our scholars that may have been an issue, but everybody will rotate kitchen duty, and it's not that complicated, just basically taking the trays, taking them to where they, scrape them off, sweeping up the floors, wiping off the table. That's pretty much it for kitchen duty. If you're allowed to go to your cabin only, so if you're not assigned to that cabin, you're not allowed to go, to anyone else's cabin. Here we go about these phones. I don't know why you would need a phone in Camp Forson, but, as the officers were talking about, those group chats are real. Even on the bus, we had issues. I personally don't think you all should be allowed to take phones because all your chaperones have phones, and I don't think, we let you use them to let them know that, we've made it. But, those phones are continuing to issue. Those group chats are continuing to issue. So a lot of times we have to shut it down, take them and lock them up. So, last year, I remember some of these phones did it got left at Camp Forson. So, we're not responsible for these phones at all. And these phones are very expensive. You really don't need one. But, right now, unless the powers will be saved, totally no, it's up to you. But you don't need them. If you leave it, you leave it.
And also with the personal items, one thing we can, as a school enforcers, we can collect cell phones at the building and then take them and then give them out when it's time for them to call home to parents and then take them up. So just like, 'cause we do that with the money, like we'll take up their money, when I went as a lead chaperone, I had an envelope, each child's name, they gave me their money, we put it in a lockbox. So no one's money was left anywhere for anyone to say that someone took their money. When I gave them the money to go to the canteen or buy their snacks, they went to buy it, bring me your money back. If you did not bring me your money back and someone took your money, I can't do anything about it because I was holding the money. They knew that no one was getting that money from me. So my thing is we could do the same thing with the cell phones because we had an issue on the school bus last year. And so we could take the phones up every week and we take those phones up and then when we get there, when it's time for them, before they go to bed, so that would probably be after dinner, like during the dinner time, we can have them call parents, let everyone know what's going on, take those phones back up, and then you'll hear from your child the next day. But yes, that's one of the issues that we've had, and the thing with the phones, if any time a child misbehaves and the phone can be an issue, we will bring your child back. Like every year is always a child, and something that happens like, oh, strike one, strike two, we'll pick up the phone, hey, so this is what's going on, and Mrs. Sally's very quick to say, drive them back. And so we load them up, and we bring them back to school. So expectations are very high at Camp Forson.
This is the total cost of $75 per student. We have 3 payments. Of course, March 1st is passed because that was the meeting we had, this is now the meeting we had. That is rescheduled. A second payment, so we have it broke down into 3 easy payments of $25. But, so you wanna make sure you get your permission slip in. If you have not already paid your first payment, you wanna get that in.
And also, please note that Mr. Sally, every year in his budget, and as long as, hopefully, we'll be able to do this every year, but every year in his budget, he budgets for Camp Forson. So the trip to Camp Forson is actually like $170, $180 per person. And so he absorbs a lot of that cost, because he knows that's a burden for some people. And once in a while, we'll have a set of twins, or last year we had 4th grade, we had a 4th grader and a 5th grader, they were coming from the same home. So to ask a parent for $340 was a lot of money, especially during the spring, right before maybe they have a senior that's going to prom, graduation. So he really does offset a lot of that cost. So, I mean, 3 good meals a day, and, 140, and snacks, yeah, so $75, and transportation, that must cost a lot of money too.
Is that, okay, so, your chaperones are your certified staff, which is your teachers. There are 3 to 4 female chaperones, 2 to 3 males. It's gonna depend upon our numbers, hopefully everybody goes. Additional chaperones will join for the day, so they'll come for the day, but they'll leave. But each cabin will have 2 chaperones. And there's some of our pictures. Is that from last year?
No, that's not from last year.
Okay.
This is, actually, might be our first or our second year, once in
We ask that parents be present to pick them up at 4 p.m. If you are part of the GO team, there is a meeting on the 14th from 5 until 6:30. The 5K Thorough Cluster event happens on March 16th. Movie and dance night will happen on the 29th. Flyers will go home tomorrow, permissions will, I'm sorry. And then spring break is April 1st through April 5th. So, upcoming events. And as always, have a QR code, have it on your agenda. If you could, please scan that. Let us know how we're doing, if there's something else you want to hear about during these meetings. The meetings are too long, if they're too short, let us know so we can hear from you, and know what it is that you're wanting to hear during these meetings. Once again,
Next week is, testing.
oh yes, next meeting will be,
Testing. It will be the Georgia milestone testing and possibly some information about the MAP test, which we're finishing up now. But definitely, what Ms. Reed said, as fifth grade parents, your child doing their very best on assessments is key. Even if they are below grade level. If they see that your child is making growth, that is a positive thing. So they get all their test scores and they evaluate all of those. As a former fifth grade teacher in other school districts, just like Ms. Reed said, they will call and ask a question. They will call and ask you, hey, we have this child, they didn't quite do well on the end of the school year test, but they're outperforming their classmates. Can you help us? Can you help us understand what's going on? And a lot of times we can say, oh yeah, this child is a very bright student, they do well, but that was bad testing day, so they didn't quite do as well. Okay, and they'll make those changes. But your child has to be there to give 100% every day, and then on that test so that we can actually speak up and vouch for them, because we are the ones who vouch for them when they move on. So next test, next chat and shoot in April will be about assessment, and definitely an important one for fifth grade students moving on, because all those assessments follow them. A GTID number.
all right, thank you all. Do you have any questions or comments about anything? No? All right, well, thank you so much. There's still refreshments left in the back. I will be packing them up in like 1 minute, so if you want to take something with you.